Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Matt, aka Mr. Matt, as some of you may know me from our other channel, Health Nut Nutrition. For those of you who came from Health Nut Nutrition, thank you so much. Your support means a lot. This channel is going to be dedicated around one of our other passions that we don't really get to talk about a lot, which is real estate investing, e-commerce, creating side hustles, a little bit of travel hacking. So the main goal of this channel is to be fully transparent about how we grew our wealth with real estate, how we went from zero to over $5 million in less than 5 years, which really just sounds crazy to say out loud. We really want to show people that anyone can do it. I mean, we did it. We're not geniuses. We just really put in a lot of hard work, dedication, and we just slow and steady grew our way and grew our portfolio over time. So we don't want people to think this is a get rich quick, because real estate's really just a get rich slow strategy. You take your time, you pick up a property, and you just keep moving and moving and moving, which is what we've done. So I am going to do a fully dedicated video that breaks down our entire portfolio and how we did it step by step. That way you guys can hopefully get inspired. But the main focus for today's video is really just to go back to basics and talk about the 4 main ways that you make money from real estate. Really, there's 3 main ways that you make money, and there's one sort of added bonus that comes with being a real estate investor that I want to talk about as well. So the 3 ways that you're making money from real estate is you got appreciation, you got cash flow, you got mortgage pay down. Mortgage pay down is actually my favorite, and I'll tell you a little bit later why it's my favorite and why I think it's the most overlooked of the 3 options. Plus, you also get to take advantage of some tax benefits, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So let's start with appreciation. I feel like this is the one that everyone really sees on those HGTV shows or the fix and flip shows, but really all appreciation is a fancy word for increase in value. So really all it is what you bought that asset for and what it's worth now. And hopefully it's gone up in value, and if it has, awesome, but sometimes it does go down in value. So when I think about appreciation, I like to think of it as the icing on the cake. It's not something that I'm betting on. It's not something that I know I can guarantee. I can't control myself necessarily, but when it does happen, when the markets go up and the value of my home goes up, it's a nice bonus. So as I said earlier, I want to be fully transparent. So I'm actually going to give you a real life example of one of the properties that I own, where I'm actually going to show you all 3 of these revenue sources in action. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is cash flow. I feel like this is probably everyone's favorite thing to hear about or talk about. Cash, cash, cash. We all love money. But really all cash flow is, in a simple form, is the amount of revenue that you're bringing in, the amount of your expenses, and anything that's extra after you make your money and pay your expenses, that's your cash flow. So for a simple example, let's say I'm bringing in $1,000 worth of rent money. All my expenses, mortgage, property tax, insurance, any repairs is $800. Well, my cash flow is $200. So I made $1,000. I paid $800. I got $200 profit. That's my cash flow. Now, obviously, this is an oversimplified example of cash flow, and there's a lot more expenses with real estate, but I just wanted to use that example because it's just simple numbers and it lets you guys know what cash flow is and why it's a great thing. Now, an important thing to keep in mind is that cash flow really varies on the type of investment that you have. So whether you're investing in a single family home, a duplex, triplex, small apartment building, maybe mobile homes, there's a lot of different investments out there, and each one of them has their own cash flow amounts that are considered good. The other thing to keep in mind is that not all markets out there can actually cash flow with investments. So some markets like Toronto right now, the condo market, very hard to cash flow. A lot of people are running negative cash flow on their investments, and that's really not a place that you want to be. Now, cash flow is a great thing, and it can definitely help you retire early with real estate, which is why it's an important thing to keep in mind when looking for investments. So the next thing I'm going to talk about, although it's not the main 3 revenue sources, I want to save mortgage pay down for last because it's my favorite. So I'm just going to talk about the next one, which is tax advantages. So one of the cool things about owning a rental property is it actually makes you a small business owner, which is pretty great because in North America, we actually get a lot of great tax incentives when you're a small business owner. Now, I'm not an accountant by no means, but just personally, some things that we've been able to write off are dinners, events that we've gone to, travel for any educational stuff, conferences. The list is really endless. Now, this really depends on the state that you live in or the province that you live in. So it's really best to talk to your accountant in your local area to see what you can take advantage of. But there are some really great tax advantages, so it's definitely something to look into. So last but certainly not least is mortgage pay down. As I said before, it's my favorite. I really think it's the most undervalued of the 3. I feel like cash flow and appreciation just get all the credit on all the shows and magazines that you see. But to me, mortgage pay down is where it's at. Okay, so you're probably wondering, why is mortgage pay down my favorite? I'll tell you why. Cash flow and appreciation are not guaranteed. You really can't tell if a furnace is gonna blow, you need to repair a roof, if something's going crazy in the economy that's dropping the value of your home. These are things that you really can't control. But one thing that is guaranteed is that every month you gotta pay your mortgage. Banks really don't like it if you don't pay your mortgage. If you do that, they're taking your house. But with mortgage paydown, the beauty of it is that each month you're paying your mortgage month after month, and each payment, you have a certain amount that's interest, a certain amount that's principal pay down, and that principal pay down is the part that I love the most. Let's look at a simple example. Let's just say your mortgage payment each month is $2,000. $1,000 of it is going towards interest, which is making the bank rich. The other $1,000 is going to principal pay down, which is making you rich because it's lowering the value of your debt. So your mortgage is getting paid down each month by that $1,000, which really is increasing your net worth by $1,000 each month. So over the course of the year, just with the normal, slow, steady mortgage paydown, you're actually increasing your net worth by $12,000. I like to think of mortgage paydown as my own personal savings plan / retirement fund. I don't know about you, but I don't always have $1,000 each month after all my expenses to put aside into a retirement fund. But the beauty of real estate investing is that it's not me doing it. It's actually my tenants who are putting that money aside for me each month by paying down my mortgage. Okay, so now the moment you've all been waiting for. As I said earlier, I want to give you a real life example of one of the properties that we own and be fully transparent with the numbers. We bought a 2-bedroom condo a year and a half ago in downtown Toronto. The purchase price for this condo was $469,000. The last appraised value for this condo was $569,000. So that's an increase in value of $100,000 in less than 2 years. The total rent that we're getting is $2,100 for the unit itself, and then we also rent the parking space for $200. So total rent each month is $2,300. Our expenses, including mortgage, maintenance fees because it's a condo, and property tax and insurance, is just over $2,000. So we're actually making, give or take, $250 a month in cash flow on this property. Now for my favorite, mortgage pay down. Each month our mortgage is roughly $1,600 for this property. $800 is interest and $800 is mortgage principal pay down. So over the last 18 months, I should do the math. Where's my phone? Anyone got a phone? 800 times 18. Okay. So over the last 18 months that we've owned this property, we've paid off roughly $14,000 of the mortgage, and that's why it's my favorite. Just slow, steady, $14,000 for my retirement in the future. So just to break all that down, we've made roughly $100,000 in 18 months in appreciation. Our $250 a month cash flow gives us roughly $4,400 over the last 18 months in cash flow. And then we've also paid down roughly $14,000 worth of the mortgage. So in total, in a year and a half, we've made about $118,000 on this property. I don't know about you, but investing in stocks or mutual funds certainly aren't going to make me $100,000 in 18 months. There you go, guys. The 3 main ways you make money from real estate. A real life example of how we've utilized it in our own portfolio. Thank you so much for sticking around for my first video. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe. We got some great stuff coming up in the future. I'm going to break down our whole $5 million portfolio, how we grew it in less than 5 years, step by step. I'm also going to be talking about how we grew our first e-commerce store from 0 to over 6 figures in less than a year. A lot of great stuff coming up. Leave your comments and feedback down below. I'll be answering any questions that you have down there. Thanks again for watching my video. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.